وكفى والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين ومن سن. قال الله تبارك وتعالى: فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أتأمرون الناس بالبر وتنسون أنفسكم وأنتم تتلون الكتاب أفلا تعقلون. وقال الله تبارك وتعالى ألف لام ميم أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون ولقد فتنا الذين من قبلهم فليعلمن الله الذين صدقوا وليعلمن الكاذبين. صدق الله العظيم. My dear and respected brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the great examples that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us in our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam has been that our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam was an example of qawl and amal. He was an example of qawl and amal. Meaning whatever Rasulullah preached, he practiced. So as a result, there was great power in the preaching of our Rasulullah. Because when you are practicing what you are preaching, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts a divine power in your words. And people will have great effect of your teachings. So, Yusuf. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts great effect in your words when there is amal with qawl. And this is why our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whatever he preached, he practiced. Al-Mu'mineen Aisha radiallahu anha was once asked by people to describe the akhlaq of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So she said the akhlaq of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam was Quran. And Quran is teaching us that do not preach if you cannot practice. Do not preach if you cannot practice. Therefore, when we look into the sunnah of our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the seerat of our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we find that Rasulullah never deliberately did anything wrong. He never wronged anyone. Meaning he did not lie. Although he was preaching to people not to lie. Right? But he set an example by not lying. Right? Now, people had an example to follow. Right? Similarly, when it comes to dealing with people, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam dealt with people with great honesty and fairness. Therefore, it was easy for Sahaba to see our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a role model. And this is what in Quran Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ, and then وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا. So da'a and amal. Meaning Allah is saying whose speech could be more beautiful than the speech of that person who is calling people towards Allah. Da'a ila Allah. But then وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا. Then he is doing amal as well. وَقَالَ إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. And he says that this is what Islam is. Meaning Muslims are those who call people towards Islam, then وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا. And they do good deeds as well. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in وَالْعَصْرِ said, وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, and then وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Allah is saying Allah is swearing by time that every insan is a loser. إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. Every insan is a loser, except for those people who have iman. But just Iman is not good enough. Just call La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah is not enough if it is not accompanied by Amal Salihat, good deeds. So, illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihat. These people have Iman and then they do good deeds. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has rebuked, has showed anger at those people who preach, but they don't follow. So Allah says, أَتَأْمُرُونَ النَّاسَ بِالْبِرِّ وَتَنْسَوْنَ أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَنْتُمْ تَتْلُونَ الْكِتَابَ أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. How is it that you are preaching people al-bir? Al-bir means nice things. Nice things. The teachings are nice. So أَتَأْمُرُونَ النَّاسَ بِالْ, that you are teaching people nice things. وَتَنْسَوْنَ أَنفُسَكُمْ, and you are forgetting yourself that you don't practice upon them. وَأَنْتُمْ تَتْلُونَ الْكِتَابِ, although you recite Quran, you know how important it is to practice, but you don't practice. أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ, don't you understand the importance of amal with qal and qal with amal? Now look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in another place says, وَالَّذِينَ يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا مِنْ أَزْوَاجِنَا وَذُرِّيَّاتِنَا قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ. Right? But then the ayah doesn't stops here, or the dua doesn't stops here. The last part is وَجْعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. That Allah is saying that Ibadur Rahman, the righteous people, right, the true slaves of Allah, among other things, one thing that they do is that they make this dua. The dua is يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا, they say, oh our Lord, هَبْ لَنَا, grant us, min azwajina, وَذُرِّيَّاتِنَا, through my family, right? قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ, peace. Meaning, make my family a source of comfort and peace for me. That my children and my wives, all of them have Iman and they have good akhlaq, they respect me, they love me. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make my family a source of pleasure for me, a source of comfort for me. But then وَجْعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا, and Allah make me the leader of my family when it comes to taqwa. Meaning, when I'm expecting my wife and my children to follow deen, I should be following deen much more than I expect them to be following. So, وَجْعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make me the Imam of Muttaqeen. Right? That my wife, my children, when I'm preaching them, telling them that this is what Quran is, this is what Hadith is, this is what Islam is, I should be the one who should be following the most, more than them. Then my preaching to my children and my family will have an effect. So one cannot be hypocrite. And hypocrites are that they preach something but they do not practice. Right? If you have read Surah Al-Munafiqun, in that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have said the same thing. That وَإِذَا رَأَيْتَهُمْ تُعْجِبُكَ أَجْسَامُهُمْ وَإِنْ يَقُولُوا تَسْمَعْ لِقَوْلِهِمْ كَأَنَّهُمْ خُشُبٌ مُسَنَّدَةٌ. That you see that these people, that they don't have any following. I mean, they don't follow. They just speak. وَاللَّهُ يَعْلَمُ إِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ لَكَاذِبُونَ. That these people are liars. That they preach but they do not practice. And my dear brothers and sisters, remember that preaching is very easy. You know, the most easiest thing is to talk. Just talk. But when it comes to amal, if you are not following, then brother, it will have no effect. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given to you and me the best example in Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that we see that whatever he said, he practiced. Now, my dear brothers, one of the great irony of this time is that it is very difficult and it is becoming increasingly difficult to follow your deen. And as the time is passing, it is becoming even more difficult to follow your deen. This is 100% true. Because when it has come, when the time is full of fitna, when the time is such that most of the people have no interest in their religion. Christians don't have any interest left in their religion, most of the Christians. You ask them that you do not, they don't have no interest. I mean, it's kind of funny that when somebody comes to the masjid to get married, and if the girl, the bride, is a Christian or a Jewish person, so as you know that they are Ahlul Kitab, right? So a Muslim man is allowed to marry a Jewish or a Christian woman. And when I ask them, are you Christian? She said, I do not know. What do you mean? Do you go to church? I don't know. Maybe 5 years ago I went to church. So do you consider yourself Christian? You can say that. You can say that. Do you believe in Bible? Yeah. When was the last time you read Bible? No, I have never read Bible. Which church do you used to go to? 5 years ago, I went with my mom. Let me think, what church was that? So this means that this person is not even a Christian. Same thing with Jewish people. That a Jewish lady comes and she is a liberal, very liberal Jewish woman. Ask her, are you Jewish? Same kind of reply. And here I will take a moment, since I see many youngsters here who might be thinking that Hafiz Sahib is encouraging me to marry a Christian woman or a Jewish woman. So I'd like to make this clear that remember, Allah had allowed this, but Allah had not encouraged it. Right? It's not encouraged. In rare cases, right, Allah says, fine, you can marry a Jewish or a Christian woman. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, have put emphasis upon deen. Let me quote just one hadith of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then I'll come back to my topic. The hadith is that Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Fazfar bizat ad-din taribat yadak." Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to the men that when it is time for marriage, look for a woman who has what? Deen. Fasfar bizat ad-din. Look for the woman that has most deen in her, most Islam in her. Taribat yadak, you will always be happy. You will always be happy. Meaning, if you are looking for deen in your future wife, right? Rasulullah is guaranteeing that if she has deen, your life would be very happy and full of bliss. Now, if your wife is a Christian or a Jewish person and she is following her religion at your home and you are trying to follow your religion in your home, it is difficult. It is extremely difficult. Plus, when you have children, right, then the children will be confused which way to go, this way or that way. So, in rare cases, yes, something very rare, fine. But don't make it a general rule, a general practice. Okay? So, what I'm saying is that, coming back to the topic, it is difficult to practice deen. Why? Because the environment is not there. People of all faiths have kind of shown great they are not interested in the deen. So when the environment is tough, then practicing upon your deen is difficult. So brothers and sisters, as the time is passing by, one thing is certain, that it is becoming increasingly difficult to practice upon your deen. But then here is the basharat and the glad tidings from our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that meaning of that is that people who will come later in my ummah, in my ummah, when they will practice upon deen, they will get more reward than even the first generation, meaning Sahaba, when it comes to uh, you know, practicing upon your deen. I give you an example. You go, let's say, for shopping. Let's say you go to Millennium Mall, Florida Mall, wherever, right? Now you took your wife, your kids for shopping. Let's say you went after Juma. You went home, you had lunch, and then your wife says that let's go for shopping. You said, let's go for shopping, right? Now you left your home at 4 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock, whatever. And now your wife takes like 3, 4 hours shopping. And you are just carrying bags behind her, right? Now the time for Asr comes. Now you are in the middle of a mall, let's say Millennium Mall. And you are saying, I need to pray Salah. Now here's a challenge. You say, should I do Qaza and pray at home? Because here in the middle of all these people, it will feel awkward to pray Salah. I don't know what people are going to say. Right? Now here is a challenge. Right? Here is a challenge. Here is what, your Iman should dictate. The Iman should dictate, no. It is time for Salah. I have to pray Salah. Why? Because Allah in the Quran has said, Inna salata kanat al mu'minina kitaba mawquta. Mawquta means from waqt. Meaning for every Salah, Allah said, I have put a specific time. You have to pray Salah in that time. So kitaba mawquta. So it is written. No exception. So now, brothers and sisters, now if you will take out time and will go in a corner, right, and pray Salah, right? Some of us, what I do when I am in this situation, is that I go in the changing room, right? Changing room, and I just pray my Salah there. It's peaceful. Nobody is watching, so you can concentrate completely. Go in the changing room. You have your iPhone or whatever phone you have. Look at the direction of Qibla. And then that changing room, just pray Salah. Come out. But take out time. For this you need courage. For this you need determination. No, I have to pray, I have to pray. Let's say you do not find a changing room. Just go in a corner anywhere. Nobody is going to stop you. But that Salah that you pray at that mall, right? And you maybe you are the only person who is praying Salatul Asr, Salatul Maghrib, or Salatul Isha, whatever it is. Brother, I'm telling you, this Salah is beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more than any Salah. On the other hand, let's say you are in a masjid and you are praying Salah here. MashaAllah, the environment is good. The Islamic environment, you are praying Salah, you will get reward. But the Salah that you pray in the mall, because you happen to be there, that is more rewarding. Why I'm saying? Because in one hadith, our Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned that when a person, let's say, go for hunting, he's in a jungle, right? He's in a jungle. And the hadith says that a time for Salah comes, what he does is that, he thinks that, if I was at my home, I would have gone to my local masjid to pray Salah with Jamaat. But here he is in a jungle. The hadith says that what he does is that he first calls Azan. Now remember, who is coming there in the jungle? Nobody is going to listen to your Azan, right? But the hadith says that Azana, he called Azan. Why? Because he's so used to of his masjid. Then the masjid Azan is called. So he is in the middle of the jungle and he calls Azan and then he prays Salah. The hadith teaches us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is immensely pleased with his slave. Allah said, look, in the middle of the jungle, nobody is going to listen to his Azan, but he is still calling Azan and praying Salah. So that Salah is liked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala immensely. On the other hand, let's say you go to Haram of Makkah or Medina. May Allah take you there, inshallah. You pray Salah there, well, the environment is there. The environment is there. Everybody is praying Salah. In fact, you have went from Orlando to Makkah and Medina to pray Salah there. So if you are praying Salah there, right? So you are not doing something which is contrary to the norms. Everybody is praying Salah, right? So the environment is there. But when you are praying Salah in a mall, in a public place, why? Because it is time for Salah and I cannot do my Salah Qada. I have to pray. Why? Because I cannot do Qada. Inna salata kana al mu'mina kitaba mawquta. This needs courage. This needs strong iman. This needs your commitment towards Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? But if you don't have this commitment, if you don't have this strong iman, then it becomes difficult for you. And I have mentioned to you, brother, multiple times earlier, but I'll repeat here one more time, and that is that when does iman becomes weak? When does praying salah becomes weak? When you become addicted to sin. Because the effect of sin is such that the sin or sins, they just, they directly affect your iman. They make it weak. They make it weak. And then when you see the right thing, like it's time for salah, your natural inclination is not to pray salah. Why? Because you have been addicted to sins. This becomes your nature because of repeated sins. Let me quickly quote this ayah, why I'm saying this, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran says that وَإِن يَرَوْا كُلَّ آيَةٍ لَا يُؤْمِنُوا بِهَا وَإِن يَرَوْا سَبِيلَ الرُّشْدِ وَإِن يَرَوْا سَبِيلَ الرُّشْدِ لَا يَتَّخِذُوا سَبِيلًا. But وَإِن يَرَوْا سَبِيلَ الْغَيِّ يَتَّخِذُوا سَبِيلًا. Why is that? ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّهُمْ, Allah is giving the example. ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّهُمْ كَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا. Allah said, because of repeated sins, right? Your nature becomes upside down. Right? And what happened is that وَإِن يَرَوْا سَبِيلَ الرُّشْدِ, when you see سَبِيلَ الرُّشْد, straight path, the path is اهْدِنَا الصِّرَاطَ الْمُسْتَقِيمَ, the straight path, لَا يَتَّخِذُوا سَبِيلًا. You don't feel like walking on that path. But وَإِن يَرَوْا سَبِيلَ الْغَيِّ, when you see a crooked path, your natural inclination is that yes, I like this crooked path. Meaning I don't want to pray. I want to do. Why? ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّهُمْ كَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا. Because this is the effect of repeated sinning. And when you do repeated sinning, this is what happens. So before the day of judgment, because human beings will be so much absorbed with sins, that our nature will become such that when we see the straight path, we say no. But when we see the crooked path, we say yes. My dear brothers and sisters, this is not right. This is not right. When we want our next generation to be following upon Deen, we must first follow Deen by ourselves. It is extremely important. Otherwise, we'll be munafiq. We'll be hypocrite. We'll be hypocrite. And one of the main reasons why our children, if not the most, one of the reasons why our children don't come to Deen is when they see this munafiqat in their adults. When you see munafiqat in the adults, I remember many years ago, one of my students told me this, that he said that somebody knocked, right? And his dad knew who is that, and he didn't want to talk to him. He said, "Beta, just go and tell that uncle that I'm sleeping." Just go and tell him I'm sleeping. So he said that I asked dad that isn't it a lie? I just go and tell him that I'm sleeping. So he went and he said, "Well, Dad is saying that he's sleeping." Dad is saying that he's sleeping. So and now if you are teaching to him that our Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was a Sadiq and al Amin, Rasulullah never lied, Rasulullah was the most truthful person, he was a Sadiq, it will not have effect on your children, right? Because say my dad is a liar and he's giving me the example of Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So why is it that he is not a truthful person? Right? Why is he lying if he loves the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam so much? If he's teaching me that Rasulullah was a Sadiq, then why is he not doing Sidq? Why is he not a Sadiq himself? Right? So, one of the reasons why the next generation of Muslims are turning away from Deen is because they see this munafiqat in the adults. Not all of them, but many of them. So, as a result, we are turning them away. Right? Now, the last ayat that I'd like to leave you with, brothers and sisters, is this. If you are spreading such munafiqat, right, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is promising two things to you. One is, lahum adabun alimun fid dunya. That you will have a very painful life in this world. And then, for them is adabun azim. Now the whole ayah is إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يُحِبُّونَ أَن تَشِيعَ الْفَاحِشَةُ فِي الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. This is the whole ayah. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ, those people who love to spread this al-fahisha, this indecent things, that you say something and do something. If you are spreading this indecent way of life, the Allah is saying what happened is that I will make sure that you will get a very bad life in this world. I mean, the same children will grow up in front of you and they will not listen to you. They will talk back to you. They will have no respect for you. Right? And when they will have no respect for you, you will feel bad. You say, well, I earned so hard, I worked so hard, I've sent our children to the best school, I've fulfilled their needs. But look, now they have grown up, they are not listening to me. This is a big pain. This is a big pain. When parents see that their children are disobedient to them. So this is the biggest azab from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is because of your munafiqat. Most of the time, because you were not true. And so lahum azabun alimun fid dunya, first in this dunya and then akhirah. In this regard, my dear brothers and sisters, let me quickly tell you one more thing. You see, brother, that ayah of Quran, in Surah At-Tur, وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَاتَّبَعَتْهُمْ ذُرِّيَّتُهُمْ بِإِيمَانٍ. Look here, the parents and the children. Please pay attention to this beautiful ayah. وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, people who have iman, like parents have iman. وَاتَّبَعَتْهُمْ ذُرِّيَّتُهُمْ بِإِيمَانٍ. And their children, right, followed the example, the beautiful example of the parents. Because they were true believers. Right? They were not munafiq. And that's why Allah is telling them, Amanu. That the parents have iman. They were the right believers. So and so their children, Dhurriya, followed them in the life. You know, Allah is saying, Al-haqna bihim dhurriyatahum. Allah is saying, not only that I will make this life very blissful, happy for this family, right? But I'll make sure that the parents and the children are united together in paradise. Right? That's why Allah said, وَلِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتَانِ. There's Jannat here and there's Jannat there. So I think if you follow upon Deen, you will get two paradises. One in this world first and then in Akhirah. And Jannat here is tranquility and peace at your home. That is the Jannah of this world. Please pay attention. This is the Jannah of this world. Do you have this Jannah? I mean, do you think that your family, your home, is a source of tranquility and peace for you? If your family is such that mashallah you are living in the paradise of this world. And waliman khafa maqama rabbi jannatan, and your second jannah will be after your death. So therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, let's practice. Let's practice what we preach. Let's practice on what we believe in. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help you and me understand. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanallah wa bihamdihi,